Hello traders and welcome to Trading with Bill, Options and Forex on a Friday, July 25th, 2014. How's it going, traders? Good to be with you on a Friday. Bright blue, sunny skies, white sandy beaches, and the Gulf of Thailand looks absolutely gorgeous. Traders, good to be with you again. Glad you're with me, and let's get to it. Got a lot to talk about today. Got some news, got some charts, but before we do that, let's get over to the risk disclaimer. I'm going to try to make it quick today. It is Friday. All right. Forex and options trading has a large potential of rewards, but also a large potential of risk. You must be aware of the risks and be willing to accept them in order to invest in the options and Forex markets. Do not trade with money you cannot afford to lose. Traders' past performance of any trading system or methodology is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, traders, my name is William Gilday, and they call me Bill. And you can always visit me at tradingwithbill.com, or please leave comments on the bottom of the YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll get my email every time I put a video up on the internet. Okay, let's get going here. Let's talk about some news. Okay, so currently trading, well, let's go to the Dow. The Dow closed yesterday just negative at 0.02%. The S&P closed just in the green, barely at 0.05%, and the NASDAQ 100 closed negative 0.08%. However, currently trading is the DAX, and that is currently negative 0.28%. The FTSE is up 0.05% barely, and the CAC 40 is down 0.60%. The Euro Stoxx 50 is positively negative at 0.37%, with the Nikkei 225 closed today at 1.13%. And let's see what else we got. The ASX 200 out of Sydney today closed at just barely in the red at 0.08%. So let's get over to what's coming up in the calendar today. We've got a couple of things coming out of New York. All right, so in the London session, basically, we had the pound GDP came out at 0.8%, forecast was 0.8, so within expectations. And year on year is the same, 3.1, forecast was 3.1, within expectations. In the U.S. session, we have core durable goods orders, and they're expecting 0.6%. Also, I think there's one more. Nope, that looks like that's about it. Those are all high impact data reports for you traders. Just keep an eye on that. Make sure you have your economic calendar standing by. And if you want a URL for a free live news person, it's absolutely free. And they do it in live time. You can hear them in the background. And they start at the London Open and they go through the New York close, or London close. So really good stuff there. All right, let's move forward and let's talk about our weekly options update. So we talked the other day about my Blackstone trade that worked out very well. And yesterday we talked about my current trade. And you know what? I talked about the trade and I was watching the YouTube video and I absolutely totally forgot to tell you what I was trading. I don't know what happened, but I totally forgot to tell you what I was trading. So let's go through that one more time. This is the Russell 2000 was the trade that I was talking about. And I entered this trade at 11:45, and that was with a 11:30 on the bottom side. Okay, so basically anything above 11:45 at expiration today at the New York close. Really, it's actually Saturday, but can't trade on Saturday in New York, so it's basically New York close today. Options expire on the weeklies. So that's all good. And what happened? Take a look, traders. The blue candle touching that gray line is the 50% exponential moving average, and that was my entry. No, that's not the entry. That was after earnings. And I took it on that green candle just above that. No, traders, I stand corrected. I did take it at that blue candle, and that was just after earnings. And you can see that pop up from that doji. And I took it there, and yesterday, actually was bumping up against when I opened the New York market. It ended up as a doji, by the way, but it's right at that little doji candle, and then we see the candle that's red. So it actually busted through the 50 exponential moving average and was absolutely awesome. I put my charts on my charts were on, but the bell, and looked at the situation there. And my rule is, if you get to, and I knew this was resistance, and I knew this was going to pull back, and I really didn't want to have to deal with the pullback on a Friday, right? So I knew I needed to pretty much get out of this. Now, the question was, when was I going to get out of this? Was I going to get out of this in the middle of New York, which is like 2 in the morning for me, or New York close, which is 3:30 in the morning for me, 3 o'clock in the morning for me? So when was I going to get out of this trade? Well, I figured it out, and I was 50% of the amount of profit that I could have made on this trade. Traders, I got out. Had to give them another penny, but that's okay. And I got out, and traders did very well. I was in this trade less than 24 hours, and this trade absolutely worked beautifully on the Russell 2000. Great way to end my weekly options. Traders, if you remember, we had 2 weekly options this week. We had the BX, which is Blackstone, and we did the Russell 2000, and both were winners. If you take a look at the bottom of the chart, check this out. The first indicator is our DNA indicator. And take a look at this, traders. Look at that blue line. It came down. Now it's bouncing, it looks like, off that 50% red line. That's the 50% line. So that looks pretty interesting to me. It's going to be interesting in New York. Sort of can't wait till New York opens in 3 hours and 20 minutes. And we'll get to see how this reacts at the open of New York. If this is going to continue down, or we're going to pop this back up again. You can see stochastics is absolutely red to the downside. And MACD is still to the upside. So looking good. Was a nice trade, and we'll start looking tonight in New York for our weekly options for Monday. And we're going to really try to start to enter our weekly options a little bit earlier than I've been doing. I talked about this earlier in the week, and we're going to work on that so we can get some trades in. You know, I'd like to get them in maybe like on Friday. But I was really busy because when you're in this stuff, can't be looking at other stuff when I'm looking at an option and looking to get out, and they don't fill you right away, and you got to adjust what you're going to give them, and so you're sort of concentrating on what's going on. And by the time I was finished, my day was pretty long by that time, and it was pretty much close to 10 o'clock at night for me in Thailand, which is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I was done, and I really didn't want to have to start looking at charts and doing an analysis to figure out what weekly options I was going to get in for next week. So I think Thursdays we're going to have to do something, or at least Fridays, and see if we can get the list ready for Monday. And at Monday we've got to pop these trades. I don't like holding that over the weekend, so we'll have to see. We're going to work on that. Well, I'll keep you updated on how that goes. All right, time's running. And let's go. Talking Forex. Let's get some Forex charts. Got some new stuff out there today. Some stuff I usually don't show you, but we're going to do it anyhow. Guys, these are 60-minute charts, and let's get to it. This is the pound New Zealand. I was just looking at my list of charts that I can look at, and I saw this pound New Zealand. I said, wow, this is really nice. So when I took the snapshot of this, look at this. Nice bounce off the daily pivot point there at 97.93. Nice to the upside. You can see my green arrow. Just take this long, right? We got confirmation. That's it. Head up there. And, we're going to get out at 98.84. This trade's like over 30 pips if it works on this 60-minute chart. Really nice and clean. You can see where the red diamond is, and that is our stop right underneath that daily pivot point. So good stuff. Good trade on that. Look at the Williams % indicator on the bottom of the chart. It's above the -20 line. That's beautiful. So hold to the upside, and this trade looks really nice. All right, another one I don't show you charts on, and really haven't talked about it in a long, long time, and that is the dollar index. And, if you trade the euro dollar, you should have the euro index and the dollar index on one screen that you can flip to real quick and just take a look at your dollar and euro index. And this is the dollar index. Look at this. The dollar is strong, traders. Continues to be strong. I don't trade the dollar index, even though you can. However, what's wrong with this is it's coming up to R1, right? And that's the thing we have to take note of, is that this is coming up to R1 pivot, and we know that's resistance. So we'll see how this reacts. as we get into London lunch, and then we'll get into the New York Open. Okay, so that is the dollar index. All right, let's take a look at another 60-minute chart. And this is the pound Swiss. Pound Swiss on a 60-minute chart. Look at this. Really looking nice. You know, I put the triangle box there with the red arrow there showing us that we can get into any of that area and take this short. You know, if it goes above the 200 exponential moving average being that red line in the daily pivot point, you know, we can still take this down. I don't know if I'd want to do that. I really don't want to have to trade back into support at that 200 and daily pivot point. So that's why the red diamond's there. We want to get short before that. And of course, there's no trade here. We don't have an entry. We don't have a bearish candlestick formation, so we don't have an entry. But, you know, I looked at the worst case scenario. If we get in at 53.90, I'm sorry, 53.20, and we get out at 52.90, you know, that's 30 pips, and we're going to be right above S1. 5,300, we know, you know, we might have to bail there. It's a psychological level, and it's a good chance that there'll be some orders there for traders to get out. Okay, let's jolt over and look at another one. We don't usually look on our chart, but I think we're going to start looking at it a little bit. And this is oil. You know, being we have the war in Israel and Palestine and the Gaza. So, you know, I think we're going to keep an eye on this. And you can see this trade is real easy. We have resistance at the 200 exponential moving average and also at the daily pivot point. You can see I marked that's resistance. Our stop is right above that at 102.60. And, you know, we want to trade this down. Now, when I took a snapshot of this slide, look at how price is going. Price is giving us higher highs and higher lows. I want to short this. So this is really not an optimal place to short this trade. So I stuck a trend line in there, and you can see that red arrow. We just basically want to get a close below the red arrow, below the trend line, and take this down to S1 at 101.45 if you're trading oil. For those of you who trade oil, I used to trade oil futures about 2 years ago. I loved it. The only problem was I had to be up at 1:30 in the morning Thailand time and 3:30 in the morning Thailand time to trade it, and just didn't do good with my sleep. I don't sleep as it is. Don't need to be forced to get awake, right? But for those of you who trade oil, that's what's going on with the oil chart. And we'll take a look at that we'll take a look at that as we go. It's good to jump into other things. I noticed I can put up the S&P SPX 500. We'll put that up next week sometime. Show you that. All right. Just a little bit of commentary before we end, and that is, remember traders, today is Friday, so we do have position squaring, and we have people taking profits today. So remember, the major points of the day are market open and market lunch, and then markets close. So we're coming into the London lunch shortly, and then we'll have the New York open, and then New York lunch, which I will not be around for. Hopefully I'll be sleeping. So traders, I want to thank you, my friends, for being with me for another week. It's been great, and really enjoy your weekend. You deserve the break. Get re-energized. We've got a full week of trading next week, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Traders, thanks again. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave some comments, and also visit me at tradingwithbill.com. Take care, my friends. Grab them profits. See ya. Bye-bye.